Since moving into my first house with a garage, I have been unable to remember to close the garage each night. I would wake up each morning only to realize the door had been open all night, exposing my things to the weather and potential theft. This was a major security concern for me, and I was seemingly unable to solve it conventionally. Still to this day, I struggle with this, which is why I invented my very own smart garage door system. There are many pre-existing systems like this, but they were mostly over my budget, incompatible with my garage, or just didn't suit my specific needs, so I decided to build one myself. I started by learning how a garage door motor works. It simply receives a contact closure signal in the normally open port. When the button is pressed, it closes the circuit, sending an electrical signal to a control board, triggering the motor. I needed something that could do this when it received a wireless signal. So I found a cheap wireless relay online that worked with its own app. Even better, the app worked seamlessly with the Alexa ecosystem, which is already fully integrated into my smart home ecosystem. The relay could be triggered through its own app, by voice,
Alexa, close the garage,
and also through a neat interface I found called Node-RED. This allowed me to visually edit a flow of logic to control lots of different external devices, such as my relay. This version used logic to track whether the door was open, rather than having a dedicated sensor of its own. I told it to keep track of the state using some simple math. The open state is -1, and the closed state is +1. If the door is triggered, multiply the current state by -1, and it logs it as the other state. The issue with this is that it got confused a lot and had to be manually corrected, which defeats the purpose. Next, I tried the Home Assistant ecosystem. Home Assistant would detect the trigger and run an automation sequence. I then wired an ultrasonic sensor into a Wi-Fi enabled Arduino, and I had my best friend ChatGPT write the code. This device would sense if the garage door is near it and begin sending an MQTT message with the garage open subject. By positioning this device properly, it would only trigger when the garage was open and stop when it was closed. It would check variables to ensure it was past 9 p.m. and that the door was actually open. It would then send a trigger command to the wireless relay, closing the garage and setting the Arduino back to its closed state. The issue with this was that it meant I was never allowed to open my garage whatsoever after 9 p.m. Attempting to would trigger the automation and close it right away. The solution was a set of delays. I added a 5-minute wait before sending a push notification to my phone notifying me the garage had been left open. Then it would begin another delay for 15 minutes. If after that time the MQTT message was still being broadcast, that meant the garage was still open and needed to be closed. A trigger command was sent to the wireless relay directly through Home Assistant, closing the garage and ending the MQTT message from the Arduino. A push notification would then be sent to my phone that the garage had been closed automatically. This works decently well for a second attempt, but it does leave a lot of points of failure. If the internet goes out, the system fails. If the network traffic gets jumbled, the system fails. If the sensors get dirty or become misaligned, the system fails. One small error in any part of this makes the entire system fail without any tolerance or fail-safes. Future versions will be built with everything in one system, mounted permanently in a 3D printed mount above the door, and it will be wired in parallel directly from the Pi's GPIO pins into the wireless relay's contact closure ports. This, coupled with a battery backup, will eliminate almost all of the issues I foresee. So far, it has been an amazing project, and I'm going to keep going until I make it perfect.